Godzilla is now in New York City.
Monster 01 and 02, commence the attack.
Welcome back to another episode of Stomp This Way.
Oh, yeah.
We're finally coming into the end of the
Tremors franchise.
We're at the final episode for now. Never count out a sequel.
Never count out anything with Tremors.
Never. You want an update to my drama yesterday?
Oh,
with
goodness.
the copyright stuff? I've decided I'm not going to proactively go back and redo all those episodes. I'm just going to wait for them to threaten to take them down, and I'll fix them as they threaten to take them down. Because, I'm lazy. So, anyway, just thought I would give an update so listeners don't think I'm sitting here working hard, fixing stuff. Because why would I do that when I could not, But, anyway, Tremors. Tremors, Shrieker Island. The 7th entry in the Tremors franchise. Who knew in 1990 when they released this kind of B movie about giant underground worm Jaws ripoff thing,
Yeah.
that we would be sitting here 7 movies later, 30 years later,
Yeah.
But anyway. But before we get into the story of Shrieker Island, there's another project that we need to talk about. Prior to the production of this film, and I think even prior to the production of the last film that we reviewed, Amazon did try to revive Tremors as a TV show. So they announced the production of this TV show in September of 2016. It was going to star Kevin Bacon. It's going to take place 25 years after the original movie, and it was going to wipe out the canon of all the sequels. It was going to be a direct sequel to the first Tremors movie. Well, in June of 2016, Amazon handed the production of the pilot off to the Sci-Fi Channel. And then after the pilot was fully produced, in April of 18, Bacon said on his Instagram or whatever that Sci-Fi had decided to pass on the pilot. So it did not get picked up. The pilot never got released. There was a teaser trailer, which I meant for us to watch and then totally forgot. But they did release like a teaser trailer after Bacon had said that they weren't going to pick it up. They released the teaser trailer in May. But yeah, so there was a series that could have been, but we didn't have.
Was Burt gonna be in this?
No, I think Kevin Bacon was going to be the star. They were going to recast the entire town. I do think Fred Ward was going to come back. I don't know if it's like a main role or just like a guest appearance or something, but no, they were going to recast everybody else.
You cannot recast Michael Gross.
I know. I don't think the character, they were going to recast the town. I don't think the character of Burt was going to be recast, but yeah, apparently it was, we were talking about it the other night. I mean, it's pretty common for pilots of shows to be filmed and then not picked up, whatever. I don't think it's very common for a studio like Amazon to decide to bring back a known franchise
with the original actors.
Yeah, like Tremors, with the original actor who is an A-list star in Kevin Bacon, get him on board, film the pilot, and then be like, never mind. And then go to the Sci-Fi Channel, and then the Sci-Fi Channel be like,
Sci-Fi has released some real bad stuff in their day.
I mean, Sci-Fi did the original Tremors TV show,
Yeah, and so, that wasn't great.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what happened. One, I'm sure the pilot must have not been very good.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was high art, I don't care. And I think also,
It probably cost way more than their original sci-fi TV show.
yeah, I think production costs had to have been a factor because obviously, if you're gonna do a show like that and make the effects passable week in and week out,
It's gonna be like higher
and you're gonna pay
cost.
Kevin Bacon,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a pretty high budgeted show. So I think probably quality combined with daunting production costs probably scared anybody away from it. But
yeah. Sci-fi, isn't like the richest people in the whole entire world.
no, sci-fi definitely not. Now Amazon has money
Yeah.
to throw around. Now in 2016 when they were making that, I think that was before the big explosion in TV budget episodes or TV
Yeah.
episode budgets. Like, you know, after the last season of Game of Thrones, I don't know when that was now, but now every show, Amazon's paying like $1 billion an episode for Lord of the Rings or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
shelling out money for Will of the Time, the Wheel of Time,
Will of the time.
Will of the Time, um, and other studios are shelling out a bunch of,
I think
Netflix, I'm sure,
it
is
was
spending.
just at the wrong point of time they tried to put that out there.
Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, they got the fans all excited, and then nothing came of it. But we did get this movie, so let's talk about this movie. This movie, filmed from November 13th of 2019 to December 12th of 2019, so over about a month, was principal photography. Filmed in Thailand, or I guess on some islands off the coast of Thailand, so on location. Although in the movie, I don't think they ever say where they're at, but whatever.
They just say they're on some private islands.
Private islands, yeah. As a promotional stunt, Michael Gross, as Burt Gummer, declared his candidacy for the 2020 presidential race.
Oh
Which
my
was,
god.
yeah, it's like a independent candidate. That was kind of funny. The working title for this movie was Tremors Island Fury. Honestly, might be a better title than what they ended up with. This is the only Tremors movie where not a single scene takes place in Nevada. So I wasn't able to confirm this next bit on my research that I did the other day for this movie, but I know that I've listened to a interview with with Michael Gross, where he talked about this. I believe they filmed two endings for this movie, one where he lived and one where he died. In fact, in the original script, I believe that he lived, and then I think just kind of on a whim, when they were doing this end sequence, they were like, well, "Why don't we film a scene where he dies? Let's film an alternate ending where he doesn't make it."
Mm.
But they wrapped production with the intent of him surviving. And then apparently, while they were in the editing room, they decided that they really liked the ending where he died. So they called up Michael Gross and they asked him, like, would you be okay with going with the ending where Burt Gummer died? And he's like, yeah, whatever's best. And so, yeah, they did end up with that ending. Oh, I'm sorry. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, by the way. But and then, despite that, Gross has said that he was open to returning for a sequel. Now, at the time, I think he said that he was like, if they do it within the next couple years or so, because he said that, I'm getting pretty old. It's beyond a couple years now, but,
Yeah.
never say never.
I've seen older people get out there and back out acting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Harrison Ford's still playing Indiana Jones, and I guess not anymore, but, he did recently. Box office. This was released on video and physical media and on Netflix on October 20th of 2020. Although they've taken it off Netflix and we had to rent it
Yeah.
because we had a collection with the original 6 movies,
Yeah.
but not the newest one. So that was not very nice of them. But anyway, and then according to Wikipedia, this earned an estimated $2.35 million in domestic home video sales. But then again, how do you judge success? Because it's streaming on Netflix, VOD, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it's just a number. That's
It's just a number.
It's just a number. So anyway, let's listen to a trailer, and then we'll come back and we'll list off the cast and crew, read a plot summary, and we'll talk all about the final film in the Tremors franchise, Tremors Shrieker Island. See you in a bit.
You don't know what you're up against. I got this handled. got a genetically enhanced giant carnivorous worm with tunneling abilities loose on your private island.
This species should be left to die.
What exactly are we talking about?
Shriekers.
We have 48 hours to stop these things.
Let's go, Ram boy.
Burt Gummer is a freaking legend.
Let's go.
Count me in.
She's culling the weakest from the herd first.
Crap, that means I'm next.
Welcome to the party, Burt.
This has to end here. This is it. Lead, follow, or get out of my way.
I'll lead.
That's not an option.
All right, we're back. This film was directed by Don Michael Paul, written by Don Michael Paul and Brian Brightly, music by Frederick Weidman, and starring Michael Gross, John Heder, Carolyn Langrish, Cassie Clare, Jackie Cruz, and Richard Blake. And the plot summary is as follows. Biotech billionaire Bill has bred enhanced graboids to use for a paid hunting experience on his private island. His company, Avex Bio, is also funding a wildlife research party on a neighboring island led by researcher Jazz. When Jazz and her main assistant, Jimmy, go to Bill's private island to investigate, they find a dead graboid. Before they can get back to their boat, one of their local workers is killed by a Shrieker. Knowing the ramifications if the graboids escape Bill's island, Jazz has Jimmy hunt down Burt Gummer, legendary graboid hunter and the father of Jazz's son, Travis. Burt arrives and tries to reason with Bill, but to no avail. Bill's hunting party is attacked by Shriekers, but this only hardens his resolve. When Burt tries to interfere with his plans, he has Burt drugged and ties up the whole research group and locks them in an underground bomb shelter. One of Bill's helpers, Anna, turns against Bill after seeing the Queen Graboid in person and lets Burt's group out of the shelter. With 3 of the 4 graboids Bill originally bred now dead, Burt and his crew devise a plan to kill the Queen by luring her off a cliff and into a ravine rigged with stakes and dynamite. While the ravine is prepared, Burt goes and tries to save Bill from the Queen. However, Bill refuses to leave his hunt behind and is eaten. Returning to camp, Burt tells the others to go and finish preparing the trap while he leads the graboid to the cliff. Once he gets there, he and Jimmy stand on the ledge while the Queen charges. At the last second, Burt pushes Jimmy out of the way and Burt is swallowed by the giant worm. The graboid falls into the ravine below, where it is blown to bits. The surviving research team makes a memorial for Burt, where they each leave a personal item behind for him, and Jimmy places Burt's Cubs hat on the cross marking the site as credits roll. And we're gifted with a montage of
Burt.
Burt over the franchise. But yeah,
You
I'm
know,
sorry. Bill Burt. I might have transposed those names a couple of times in there, but anyway.
and, at the ending of the credits, they said, "Remember Burt Gummer Day, April
April
14th."
And don't forget to pay your taxes. I'm sure April 14th was probably tax day for that upcoming year. And it's a joke because, he hates the government. But anyway, yeah, so, we've talked about the last couple entries. I think we both agreed were kind of disappointing. This movie is, again, from the same creative team with those last 2 movies. So, I think if I had been more up to date with Tremors when this movie came out, I'd have probably been a little trepid about its release. But when it starts, we start on these islands. I think immediately, visually, this movie looks better
Oh yeah.
than the last 2 entries. I mean, we do have an opening scene where this local is running through the forest and he's doing some very unnecessary flips and jungle parkour, but that's okay. But being on location with these aerial drone shots of the forest on this island, it looks a lot better. Now, every time we're going to go to Bill's private island, there's going to be a kind of an annoying blue filter over everything. But if you put that aside, I think the movie looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Because, the other 2, well, especially that last one where we were in Canada
In the snow.
in the snow. That one. And then even part 5 where they took us to South Africa, but the South African desert looks a lot like the Nevada desert. It's all desert. So this is the first time that we get like a real change in scenery that actually means something, I
Yeah.
think. So that's one positive early on. Now, Michael Gross is obviously top billed in this movie, but it's going to be about 20 minutes before we get to Burt Gummer. we're gonna have the scene. We're gonna introduced with Bill and his hunting party. He apparently owns. Bill was played by Richard Brake, and he apparently owns this, biotech company. But he also has this private island where he's bioengineered graboids, and he like lets rich people pay to come do exotic hunts or whatever.
hmm
This movie is kind of a cross of Jurassic Park with bioengineering the animals and all that stuff on this island
Yeah.
with the most dangerous game where they bring hunters and hunt. But
With Tremors added in, with the Tremors aspect added in.
yeah. So they're gonna do that whole bit and they're gonna hit this graboid, but it's not gonna die.
No.
And then we're gonna be introduced to Jazz's group, and we're gonna figure out that Jazz is Travis's mom.
hmm
Now, obviously, for whatever reason, Jamie Kennedy decided not to return to this movie. So they're gonna give some drop lines about he's locked in a Mexican prison for trying to sneak mushrooms over the border or something.
Yeah.
But Jazz is his mom. So, the woman that that Burt Gummer had a brief fling with back in the 70s or whatever. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so then Jazz's group is going to go trespass on Bill's private island.
Well,
Because
is it really trespassing if they work for the guy?
there's one kind of confusing
Mm.
element of this movie is that he has this private island where he does these unethical hunts.
hmm
But on the very neighboring island, he's also funding a wildlife research team.
Well, no, they kind of they work for him. They're part of his like a subgroup of his bioengineering company.
Okay, yeah, he's funding it, like part of his company, whatever. He's involved. It's weird to me that he's like doing that right next to his private island where he brings people to hunt, especially considering how Jazz is such
Yeah.
a, opposite of his personality. But whatever. I get over that pretty fast. We gotta go with the plot.
Yeah.
So she takes her and Napoleon Dynamite himself, John Heder,
Mhm.
Hater, whatever. I want to make a confession here. I've never watched Napoleon Dynamite. I know.
Really?
Of all the crappy movies I've watched, I'm like the only person on earth who has not seen Napoleon Dynamite. I have seen Benchwarmers. He's also in that. But yeah. Anyway, that guy's here. We're on the Tremors path of washed up movie stars to co-star with Michael Gross, and we're on John Heder this week. But I will say, well, anyway, so they go over to the island, they find the dead graboid, and then their little local man, no name local man, of course, gets eaten by a
There
shrieker.
is a name.
Oh,
They-
yeah,
they
I guess
said it-
because he says it like over and over, doesn't
He
he?
said it like a billion times.
Yeah. Anyway, I forgot it though,
Mm.
and he gets eaten, and on the boat ride back, Jazz is like, Jimmy, I need you to find Burt Gummer for me. I will
And-
say though, right at the top, John Heder is a much better co-star for Michael Gross than Jamie Kennedy.
yeah.
He's a lot less insufferable, and I feel like he plays off Michael Gross better, or maybe Michael Gross plays off him better because I think John Heder just is a lot more low key,
Yeah.
and Michael Gross by proxy is better because he is. I feel like Burt Gummer is scaled way back in this movie, back to more like early Burt Gummer. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
he'll have some quippy one-liners and stuff, but he's
Like
not like
usual.
screaming and saying super
Weird.
off the wall crap.
Yeah.
Because he's not trying to outdo Jamie Kennedy. So
Ye-
immediately we're an improvement. But he goes and he finds Burt Gummer at Papua New Guinea, like isolated on a beach somewhere, looking a little rough, and it brings him back and
and he spouts about the government trying to make him do stuff.
yeah, the government told him that he had to put in a sewer for his, I guess, his underground compound, and he's
Yeah.
like, you know what that means? That means permits.
Government expects
Yeah, yeah, I do like that bit.
Mm.
So anyway, he brings him back, and of course, he's hesitant about working with Jazz, but he agrees. And I will say, overall, I mean, this movie is an improvement over. I'll just go ahead and say a big improvement over the last two entries. I like most of the supporting cast better. I like Jazz. I like John Heder better. And then there's, I think her name's Freddie, the Hispanic woman. She's like a Burt
Yeah.
Gummer fan because, like, as he's shaving and everything, they're watching his survival guide video from like the beginning of the fifth movie or whatever.
Yep.
And she's like, he's a legend. And but she was raised on a weed farm, so she like knows her way around a gun and stuff.
Guns,
Yeah.
knives.
And I mean, she may be a little over the top sometime, but I like her character.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's this Asian chick and this black guy that run around with the research team that I don't even sure if they even have any lines of dialogue. Maybe one line of dialogue between the two of
I
them.
don't think the Asian girl ever speaks,
I don't think
honestly.
she ever spoke either.
Mm.
I don't even remember their names, but I like the ones that do have
Mhm.
speaking roles. And Richard Brake too. Richard Brake, he's an actor that I know. He's been in a couple Rob Zombie movies, I think, that I've seen.
His acting is something.
He plays a really good sleazy bad guy, and I think he is. I mean, there's some line deliveries that maybe he'd want back in this movie, but I think overall he plays a really good sleazy bad guy in this movie.
He just has that slow, weird, talking, maniacal way
Yeah,
about
he
him.
talks real slow in his deep voice, and he's got some gross looking teeth, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like Richard Brake as the foil because this is the first time that I really feel like I talked about
Mm-hmm.
the lack of villains in other movies. This is the first time where I feel
Mhm.
like we have a real
And
a human villain. It's their fault the graboids are
Mhm.
here, and he's
Uh,
gonna be
they just
trying to foil Burt the whole movie, or at least until he
horrible,
dies.
horrible, corrupt rich guy.
Yeah, he's just a billionaire who's obsessed with hunting,
And he
and
has too much money for himself.
yep. So anyway, of course, Burt tries to talk him down, and it doesn't work. And yeah, we're gonna go through the movie, and we're gonna have, a series of action sequences where the Shriekers are gonna attack Bill's hunting group and kill some of the guys. The Shriekers, they're all bioengineered, so the Tremors are bigger, and there's
Mhm.
one Queen Tremor the Graboids are bigger, I should say.
Graboids.
And there's one Queen Graboid that's like 20 meters long and can swallow a elephant whole,
1,100-pound elephant whole.
11,000 pound.
11,000? 11,000-pound elephant whole.
Yeah, so she's really big. And then the Shriekers actually use their shriek as a weapon, like as a
Mhm.
disorienting
Shriek.
shriek. So that's a new thing. And yeah, so we see the Shriekers, they attack and kill a lot of these rich people that Bill's brought to this island, and
This one rich guy has like a minigun.
he has a minigun, which I think Bill takes up later.
Yeah.
And there were 4 graboids. One of them was the one that died and had the Shriekers eat its way
Mhm.
out of him. And then one of them, when Burt comes in and uses the flamethrowers to chase the Shriekers away from Bill's group, a graboid's going to attack. And there's this woman, this archer woman that I think her name's Anna, that Bill has, that like she can hit anything with her
Arrows.
arrows or with the
Glock.
Glock. And she like shoots the nitrogen can for the flamethrower as the
Mhm.
graboid's eating it and kills another graboid. And then they go back and there's some banter and stuff, and
Yeah.
Bill is and the survivors are back at their camp, and the other two graboids attack and kill some more people, and then Anna's like, I'm out of this.
Well, you missed the whole part where they got captured and drugged and put
Oh
in the
yeah.
basement.
After the whole Shrieker thing, they go back and Bert's like, you need to solve this, and Bill's like, you need to stay out of my way, and Bert's like, well, I can't do that, so he darts Bert,
Yeah.
and when Bert wakes up, they're all zip tied down. There's this bomb shelter where they've been getting they had all their weapons and stuff,
Food supply,
food supplies and
and all
stuff,
that.
and they're tied up down there. And anyway, that night, the Queen Graboid and the other one are gonna attack, and Anna's like, I'm out. This is too much.
Yeah.
And she, goes down there and unlocks the shelter, and then they decide there's dynamite in this shelter, so they use it to blow up another graboid as it breaks into the bomb shelter.
Mhm.
kind of reminiscent of that scene in the first movie when the Graboid breaks into his rec room and him and Reba shoot it to death.
Yeah.
So there's 3 Graboids now, so only the Queen remains, and then the Shriekers, of course. So then we're gonna have a bit where they're, you know, Burt is gonna go and try to save Bill from the Graboid, and Bill's, of course, like, no, I'm gonna finish this hunt.
Yeah.
And then at the end, as he's being swallowed by the Graboid, he does ask for help, but he gets eaten. If anything, I think Richard Brake is killed too early in this movie. I almost wish he survived at least through part of the climax. But anyway, he dies kind of like the end of the second act.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get to the third act where Burt and Jimmy are going to go with some machetes and a chainsaw into this cave to kill the Shriekers, and they get into some hand-to-hand combat, and then he eventually uses a flamethrower to burn them out.
Gotta kill them all.
Got to kill them all. And then there's like this ravine with this cliff overlooking it where they've rigged like these bamboo stakes and tied some dynamite to them. And, you know, I will say, like thematically, I felt like that last movie, A Cold Day in Hell, was kind of building up to like, oh, this could be the end of Burt. He's got this disease. He's dying. And Burt's like, you know, keeps pushing off death and everything. Like that one thematically felt like it could be potentially building up to an ending where Burt died. This
Yeah.
one, I don't really feel that. I mean, they kind of start hinting at it as we get closer. Like Jazz is like, "Do you want to do this alone forever or whatever?" And then she keeps hitting him with, "You got to come back from this thing." But I feel like
Yeah.
the death thing is kind of more sprung upon you in this movie
I think, well,
because I don't really think it wasn't written with the idea
of him dying.
of him dying at the end.
And they, they just might have, they're like, it's a good surprise. Good ending, good surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise everybody that Burt Gummer finally dies.
Yeah. Well, so, he goes and they're standing on the edge of this cliff, and of course Jimmy's insisting that he's standing there with him.
Mm-hmm.
And they get the Graboid to charge them, and then at the last moment he pushes Jimmy out of the way, and then he flips off the Graboid in slow-mo as it eats him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it falls down and blows up. I mean, it really feels like a scene where Jimmy's gonna wake up and he's calling out, and it's almost like every other scene you've seen in one of these movies where they're calling out and they freak out for a few seconds, and then he comes like crawling up. He's clinging to the side of the cliff, and he comes crawling up over it or something.
Yeah.
And the first time I watched this movie, I knew 100% that's what was gonna happen, and then it just goes on, and you're like, is he actually dead? And
then you're like, oh goodness, he's dead.
I was like, oh, they actually. The first time I watched this movie, up to the point where the credits were rolling, I was like, this guy's not dead, but he's dead. And I will say, it's pretty a poignant moment when like they realize he's dead, and they see his. I guess like 'cause she wanted her sunglasses back, so I guess at the last moment he like grabbed his hat and sunglasses and threw them to the side or something.
Yeah.
And she gets her sunglasses, and they make him a little memorial, very reminiscent of the ending of Logan, where she made the little rock grave or whatever.
Yeah.
And each of them leaves like a personal item behind, and she leaves her shades. And then, even though to me it's kind of weird that John Heder is the last one to put something on, I think it would be the reverse. Like you'd want Jazz to be the last one to stand there and mourn him because it was her former lover or whatever. But he's, I guess, the second listed star of this movie. So she puts the glasses, and then he puts the Chicago Cubs hat on the top of the cross.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some moving music. And I think something I'll really give them credit for is that that's the last scene. Then it cuts to credits.
And then
We don't have like some like coda where, they try to set up some sequel or some handoff of the franchise or something.
And then they have this quick good old montage of Burt Gummer through all the movies.
Yeah. I don't think the ending is quite as poignant as when X-23 or whatever her name was, like put the cross on its side in Logan to make the X for X-Men.
Yeah.
It didn't make me like sob like a little
That
baby
was
like that movie did.
No, that was a piece of art. That
But,
movie.
but this movie, I think if you were to like be unfamiliar with Tremors and watch this movie in a vacuum, I don't think the death would mean much to you. But people like us who've watched all of them and are pretty big fans of Burt, I think the ending hits appropriately
Yeah.
hard. And then, like you said, we get to go into a montage of all the Burt, like not all the Burt scenes, but some of Burt's scenes
Some of
throughout the
the best
franchise.
bird scenes.
Yeah, and then they have the joke about April 14th and pay your taxes and stuff.
Burt Gummer Day.
Yeah,
Are we gonna celebrate Burt Gummer Day, Aaron?
we might have to. We might have to. But anyway, yeah, that's the movie. So, like I said, I mean, there's still some cringy dialogue here and there. Not all the acting is great. I think this movie has a couple of slow points. I think it could probably use a little bit more monster mayhem. But overall, I think this is a big improvement over the last two movies. I mean, like I've said, the supporting cast I like a lot better, much less insufferable than the supporting cast from the fifth and sixth movie. And then I think by proxy, Michael Gross is a lot better in this movie.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like we get back to like the
A good old Burt Gummer
old-fashioned
Day.
Burt, like the pre-part 5 Burt, the Burt from the first three movies. And like I said, the change of location, the filming on location in Thailand, I think also helps this movie
Oh
visually.
yeah.
But yeah, and I think the ending works, even if it was kind of unplanned. You ready for some creature design?
Sure.
Well, we have the graboids. I think still pretty similar to the graboids we've seen in the last couple of movies. I think same CGI model, maybe redesigned a little bit. Obviously, the queen is really big,
Yeah.
but similar graboids.
Similar Graboid. We didn't have any ass blasters
No
in this
ass
one.
blasters. First movie in a while, no. But we did have shriekers. This is
We
the
did have
first time
Shriekers.
we've seen shriekers since the TV show. First time we've seen them in a movie since I think like the beginning of the third movie. So, and I think there's even a comment Michael Gross has about I haven't seen these in 20 years or something. I will say I like the Shrieker design a lot more than I liked the Ass Blaster redesign. Because one, the Shriekers, they're a lot more faithful to their original design. They do kind
Yeah.
of make them like, I don't know, like video game characters, like they have like the X on their nose and like this mohawk thing going on. But they actually resemble old fashioned Shriekers.
Yeah.
They don't do like the flaps that come up and see the heat vision, but their heat vision is just
Predator.
Predator vision in this movie.
Yeah, it's
And there's even
nothing.
some references to Predator.
Yeah. I'm like when they're in the cave, he's
Yeah.
like, I'm putting mud on like Arnold in Predator.
Yeah, and even earlier, he said something specifically about the vision when they're like, he's like, they hunt by heat signature. It's like the Predator. Yeah, so they try to still fit in the pop culture references, just not as incessantly as Jamie Kennedy did.
Oh my goodness. Every line Jamie Kennedy
Yeah.
tried to.
So no, but overall, I like the creature design effects. I mean, the CGI is passable. I mean, there's some rough shots of the Shriekers, especially, but it gets the job done. I
Yeah.
think. Plenty of orange blood splatter and dynamite explosions, but
A lot of dynamite explosions.
yeah. And then I like the score for this movie. I think, it reminiscent of Tremor scores, but it's also got a nice ending theme that's kind of, moving when he dies.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job with the
They
score.
did a pretty good job. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Going back to effects real quick, you did make a comment, and I agree. The title card sequence in this movie looks like crap.
Mm-hmm.
Like straight, like sci-fi original movie, just like super CGI, like
Horrible.
horrible title card sequence. I don't know what happened there, but anyway. But yeah, ready for final thoughts?
Besides that, it looked decent.
Yeah. You ready for final thoughts?
Yes.
Why don't you go for it?
Like we said, I think this movie is a greatly improvement over the last couple of films, especially the last film. I think the last film is the weakest by far in the franchise.
Yeah.
And, I actually enjoyed the supporting cast in this movie. I think they play off well with each other, and I think Burt is back to it like his original, like, prime Burt Gummer self.
Yeah.
And I think the monster designs in this are pretty faithful or pretty cool looking. The queen graboid is really big and really cool looking, I think, and the shriekers are pretty faithful to their original design with a little bit of tweaking in there here and there.
Mhm.
In like their ultrasonic sound waves they can emit, makes people collapse.
Yeah.
You know, I like the score in this movie. I think the score fits well, especially at the ending where our Lord and Savior Burt Gummer dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh goodness. And I like the effects are not that bad in this movie. It's an improvement over the last couple. We got some pretty bad effects there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Except for the title card in this, like you said, something went wrong there, but
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty decent movie in all, and I think I'll give it a C plus.
A C plus. All right. Yeah. Listen, I think this is this is a pretty good Tremors movie. Like I said, definitely an improvement over the last two. It's the best movie that this new creative team that took over starting with part five has made by far. Yeah, there's still some drawbacks. I still think some of the acting's a bit shoddy. Some of the effects are not quite there. And I do think it gets a little slow in moments. I think we could probably use a bit more blood and carnage. But they successfully pull off, I think, a pretty emotional ending with Burt, much to my surprise. I think the supporting cast is much better this time around. The best supporting cast we've had since at least part four. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's like I said, I think shooting on location in a new area. We're in a rainforest this time instead of in the desert again for the sixth, seventh time or whatever. Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid entry. I'll be nicer to it. I think I'll give it like a B.
A B.
A B.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, let's run through a quick exercise. I'm gonna throw it on you.
Oh
Let's
goodness.
rank the Tremors movies. You gonna go first or let me go first?
Hmm. I can go first, I guess.
All right. From least to best, what would you say?
Are we doing the TV show?
And you can throw the TV show in there if you want.
Okay. From the best? Hmm.
No, from worst to best.
Worst to best.
Yeah.
Okay. Cold Day in Hell's the worst. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say that. It's a horrible movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think the Tremors 5
Yeah.
is probably the second worst.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The ones with Jamie Kennedy are not that good.
No, they're not that good.
And ooh, I think the third worst one, probably, honestly, Shrieker Island, probably.
You're gonna put Shrieker Island next? Okay.
You don't like my choices?
No, keep going. You have the right to rank them however you want.
No, I forgot about the TV show.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about the TV show for a sec. It's the third worst one.
Okay, so so far we got Cold Day in Hell, Bloodlines, TV show, and then Shrieker Island.
Since Shrieker Island, yes.
So last three.
Last three, it's probably gonna be.
Well, actually four, I guess.
Don't confuse me. I would say I like the fourth one better than I do the third one.
Okay, so part three, then part four.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part 3, part 4, then 2-1.
Then 2-1. Okay. Yeah, my list wouldn't be much different. Definitely Cold Day in Hell and Bloodlines are the last two. We agree on that. I think I'd also agree with you. I think the TV show would be next. And then I think I would put part 3 because I think it was pretty forgettable thinking back on it. And then I think I would probably put Shrieker Island. And then I don't know. Probably Shrieker Island, then part 2, then part 4, then part 1.
You didn't like part 2?
I put it third. After part 1, it's a pretty steep drop.
Yeah.
And then I think 2, 3, 4, and Shrieker Island all kind of right there in the same grouping.
Yeah.
And then the TV show is kind of its own little grouping. And then 5 and 6 are pretty bad. So, yeah. But the first one is still easily, I think, the best.
The best one by far.
Yeah. Anyway, gonna talk about a little bit of news real quick.
Sure. What's the news?
We'll keep up with our G-Fest updates.
Oh, yeah.
So they've announced their third guest, Kurt Carley, who was the mocap actor for the 98 Godzilla movie. I'm not even sure I knew if the 98 Godzilla was mocap, but now I do.
Yeah. It's mocap. It's not good, but it's mocap.
Anyway, he's coming to G-Fest. And then they've launched a new Ultraman channel on Prime Video. All the Ultraman stuff is on a Prime Video channel now. So
Is it had to pay for?
I'm sure it's probably extra. Most of their channels are extra.
Or you don't pay for it, Aaron?
I mean, I've got it all on DVD now, so I don't
That's
see
true.
why I would need to.
Mhm.
But unless they got something we haven't seen. And then speaking of Ultraman, I don't think I've done a Mill Creek Ultraman update in a while, but Mill Creek's Ultraman Z box set is coming out, I think, April 22nd. And then their Trigger box set will be next, and I think it comes out like May 6th. So those are available for pre-order on
Yeah.
Amazon.
And I bet Aaron's already pre-ordered some things.
Yeah. There's also some cool Kamen Rider stuff on Amazon. They've got a trilogy of movies on pre-order, like Kamen Rider, whatever, ZX, and
All
the
the
first
night.
gen Kamen Rider, not the newest one.
Yeah.
All those movies that didn't really lead to series between,
In the 90s.
in the 90s, between RX and Cougar or
Cougar,
whatever was the
yeah.
first 2000s
They
one.
had
But
like 3 movies in like a few years time span.
yeah. So, that's available for pre-ordered. You can also get like Black, which we already said is a great show. We're working on RX right now, Black RX, which is also so far a pretty good show.
Yeah.
So, check that out on Amazon or wherever you buy your stuff. But other than that, I think that's all we got for you this week. Coming up on the podcast, what we got coming up on the podcast, Andrew?
Well, we have the next Ultraman movie coming up.
I think it's Ultraman X the movie. Is that our next adventure?
Ultraman X.
Yeah, Ultraman X will be the next movie, and then the Iron Giant coming up really soon. And then we have Ultraman Orb the movie, then Big Ass Spider, and Ultraman Geet the movie will be our first May episode. And then we have our Dinosaur extravaganza, which, to remind the listeners, will start with the Lost World adaptions, the 1925 silent movie version and the 1960 version. And then leading up to the new Jurassic World movie, we'll be doing the whole Jurassic Park franchise, which includes Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Dominion, and then Rebirth will be the weekend of release movie. Will come out the Wednesday after. And then I think we're going to take a week off the next week because that will be G-Fest week, and I don't think we'll have time to record and edit a podcast for that Wednesday. But then we'll come back, and the remaining schedule that I have filled out so far: Ultraman R&B the movie, Rego, King of the Sea Monsters, and then Ultraman Tiger the movie, then Rega. We're going to do the Rega trilogy. Rega, God of the Monsters, then the Ultraman Triggers Episode Z movie, then God Rega versus King Oga, War of the Monsters. I don't think did we watch that one?
I don't
I don't remember if we did or
remember.
not. And then Ultraman Decker finale, and that will be our final Ultraman movie until the next one.
Wow.
Wow. Quite impressive. I think we actually are behind because Ultraman Arc had a movie come out, but obviously it's not available in the US yet. So anyway, and then that goes through the beginning of September, and then the rest of the schedule's blank, so I'll have to fill in something else. But anyway, I think that's all we have for you this week. I think I've rambled on long enough. So, as always, you can contact us at stompthisway1954@gmail.com.
Then you can find our website at www.stompthisway.wordpress.com.
That's right. And you can also find us on Facebook. It's On This Way. And next week is Ultraman X the movie. Don't forget. As always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
And we'll catch you next time.